Here's a little story for you. More than 20 years ago, a group of Northampton schoolboys formed a band. Nothing unusual in that, you might say. The group went on to put together an album. Again, still nothing strange there. 65 copies were pressed and sold at £3 each. A nice little earner for a bunch of schoolboys 20 years ago. The story moves on 20 years, and those same 65 copies are now worth somewhere in the region, wait for this, of £3,000 each. And they're among the most sought-after records in the world. Can you believe that? In fact, the album Dark Round the Edges was voted as the record of the year in Italy last year. With the combined talents of a photographer, builder, computer whiz kid and a writer, the group Dark has now reformed, and it's hoping to make it big in the 90s. Caroline Hawkins met Steve Giles, Clive Thornycroft, Martin Weaver and Ron Johnson, now in their second flush of youth, to find out more.
It's a long story, really. Some American collector picked one up in London, I understand, took it back to the States and taped it on a cassette, sent it across the States, and a myth grew up.
I think it's because it's a limited edition. Nobody had ever seen it before. Most records are obviously catalogued by a number, or they're released through a recording company. This one wasn't, and there was nothing about the band, nothing known, so it sort of became a legendary sort of status, and people tried to find out about us, and they couldn't, which made the record that was turned up even more valuable. And so the price went up and up and up until it reached about £3,000 it changed hands at.
We had to twist people's arms to buy them at £3, and it serves them right if they didn't buy them. Yeah.
So the record's actually probably worth more than the band?
Definitely.
What a thing to say.
How would you describe your style?
I don't know, to be honest. I mean, I've never put it down as a particular style. I mean, it's been called underground, progressive rock, psych-tinged rock, yeah. It was just our own music, basically, that evolved amongst ourselves.
I was very sorry that it didn't take off at the time. We had, I think, a unique sound at the time. Nobody else was doing quite what we were. And I think that's part of why the record is so collectible now.
One of the reasons why it's very popular in Italy has to be the lyrics, because nobody in England could understand them. Italian people think they can understand the lyrics.
So how has it changed your life?
We've got something to do on a Wednesday night now.
We could be at home in the warm.
And Ron's got big-headed.
Do you think you're going to have another album in, say, another 20 years' time that you'll be looking back at that's worth perhaps £10,000?
Oh, I hope so, yes, that'd be nice.
It would be nice to think so, but I think that is unlikely. I think to try and manufacture something that becomes collectible is a very different proposition to it happening by chance.
We're just preparing for the possibility there might be an upsurge in interest in the modern dark, now that people know we're still alive after all these years. So we're sort of trying to rekindle our youth. My wife thinks we're in the male menopause at the moment, but we're just getting a bit of enjoyment out of it. Perhaps trying to see if we can compose some more songs along the lines of the original album. But until that happens, we're just rehearsing some of the old ones to see if we can get the skill level back again that we used to have all those years ago.
Tell me about the world-famous Northampton toilet.
Yes, well, one of the reasons I believe that this album is so collectible is because of the toilet flush that features on one of the tracks in stereo. And that's one of the main reasons that the thing's taken off. Yes, the most musical part of the whole album, in fact.
So, do you view yourselves as the new sex symbols of the 90s?
I think it's unquestionable.
But I think there's hope for anybody, really, because they believe John Thaw is a sex symbol now in Inspector Morse, so I've got a few years on him at the moment, so...
And slightly more hair than Right Said Fred.
Slightly more. We're funky now, yes, yeah, we're getting the old feel back again. It's coming back.
Nothing like an old feel, is there?
We're funky now. Yeah, Caroline Hawkins speaking there to Steve Giles, Clive Thornycroft, Martin Weaver and Ron Johnson, the members of the Northampton band Dark. It says here, not half pot pickers. Have I really got to say that? Not half. Now then...